Welcome to Two Bitches in a Broom podcast. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode. And I don't really have a catchy title for this week, but we're just gonna throw some subjects out there because I'm pretty sure I still have brain cells after all this energy
Yeah,
somewhere. Um,
we could
so
call it fascinating portals, their
yeah,
energies and capabilities. I don't
and
know.
all of the stuff. In other words, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I like
Uh,
this one.
so yeah, I mean, the topic that we're going to kind of go into today is the news on portals, and we're going to talk about that,
Yeah.
and also the works of CGI and AI and all that good stuff, and really navigating what's real, what's not. There's I think it's tech advancements in technology are great, but then they're also not great. So double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Um, but man, okay, so let's start with uh portals. Do you want to give a general definition of?
Sure. Um, so a portal is a gateway. It's a doorway that connects two distinct locations, dimensions, or points in time. Um, I think most people understand portals are pretty popular in science fiction and fantasy, but
Mhm.
they also have their roots in myths, religious texts, and they are extremely theoretical in physics. Yeah. So
Okay, good.
that's portals.
And it's now starting to really surface these events where people are capturing what they believe to be as portals in the sky. I saw, I think it was I, Tennessee and Virginia, of capturing circular clouds and ring of fire
Yes.
imagery,
Yeah.
and um, saying that it's a portal, as
Yeah.
well as you mentioned. Did you mention something else too? There was another one, wasn't there?
Yeah. So there was one in Tennessee. I'm gonna try to edit some clips in here for social media. There's ones in Ohio. There's
Mm-hmm.
ones in India. Um, there is ones in Pennsylvania. There's like stuff all over. most notably by me in Detroit, there was 31 UFO sightings yesterday. Yeah. I mean, there's just
Wow.
like the world is very interesting right now. It's very interesting. That's my phrase for everything. Interesting.
Hmm.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. You know what this makes me think of, though, too, is just the more that individuals, like everybody, well, mostly everybody that chooses to,
Mhm.
starts waking up and kind of moving out of this matrix,
Mhm.
as we call it. Um, it makes me also say, even with like the portals and the UFO sightings and all these things, wow, that's super interesting. How does it all fold into the concept of existence and life? I mean, like that's a whole big rabbit hole that we
Yeah.
can fall down to explore. And I feel like for a lot of people who aren't very well versed in that just yet, can be scary, can be confusing. Um,
Yes.
and because it's challenging also, just that societal programming too at the same time, you
Absolutely.
know?
I agree.
Yeah.
And there's different types of portals that I think a lot of people um don't realize that, if you were to um do any studying in physics or quantum, there's different types. There are physical portals that is like a tangible gateway, hence the word
Mm-hmm.
physical, that you
Mm-hmm.
can step through to travel to another place or another time, right? Dimensional portals connect to different dimensions, different realities. Um, then there is temporal portals. Those are gateways to different points in time. So, and I'm just grabbing, Shirley, I don't know, my brain thought of it. So like the assassination of JFK, you know, I would take a temporal portal to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There have been reports about that, about time travelers
Oh yeah.
and caught in images and still images of time travelers in that era when, like I think there was one, I saw this a long time ago, but holding like an iPhone
Yeah.
in that
I think
time
that's why
frame.
it popped up in my head. I think that's why it popped in my head because
Yeah.
there is photographs that are showing somebody wearing a very modern day t-shirt
Mm-hmm.
and holding what looks to be an iPhone. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I find that interesting, you know?
Yeah. That's my motto in life. Everything is just interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I think, and again, with Hollywood and just the over dramatization of things, of metaphysics in Hollywood, can make people seem think that portals are just all pure evil and bad and the world is going to end kind of thing, because I've seen that too with the imagery that has come from Tennessee and Virginia of those portals. And I kind of skim through just the comments. I like to get a general consensus of what again, everything's interesting. So if anybody has any uh, viewpoints or
Sure.
opinions or anything, I just like to view it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go right into the end of times, biblical, the end is near kind of stuff. And I feel like yes and no. It is We are in moving into a new level of consciousness. So that could be deemed as an ending in a beginning. Um, is the earth going to implode? And no, I don't believe that. but events occur. We move, we shift, as is with any era and any phase, right? It's just part
Yeah,
of evolution.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I feel like there's a misconception about the understanding of portals. So I think that's good we talk about it and give it your definitions of what it is and the differences. So remove some of that fear and remove some of that,
yeah.
you know, that scared, like we don't want to feed that stuff.
Well, I think if we go back, and I don't have the date because I'm sorely unprepared for this, but there is, and I'll include a clip of that too. There was on the news, there was a somebody who was on social media who was pretty popular, I'm assuming to be on the news, and they were showing people how to make cracks and spaces in time to open a portal. And this gentleman not only achieved it, but he filmed it. And this is before the CGI rave that we're experiencing right now. And he went missing, like vanished. Nobody could locate him. And there was a lot of, um, you, you can imagine, there was a lot of people that were like, coming up with some of their own theories of what had
Mm-hmm.
happened to him. The government took him all the way to he was successful, and nobody knows because he's still hasn't been located. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it makes my brain go, that's interesting. That's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And what was most compelling is that he filmed it in his bedroom, and it wasn't like crappy footage that you usually see that's like, oh, this camera just happens to be a brick from 1990.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
no, it was a very modern uh film equipment, and yeah, it's clearly visible. Um and the there was like CGI um people that had looked at it, and they'll tell you point blank this has not been manipulated at all.
Mm-hmm.
To the point of where there has been a couple of people who work within the quantum field, and physics, who were making their statements like it's definitely possible. Um, the concept of uh, portals include a lot of energies. Um, and literally, physics and quantum mechanics prove the possibility of wormholes, which are essentially portals, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
even went so far as to describe the electromagnetic energy, that the use of it to stabilize and control the portal, which was essentially what this young man was using and proving. So I think I just find it fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Unlock the secrets of your soul with our transformative Soul Blueprint session. This unique experience is designed to help you discover whether you are in harmony with your soul's true path. You will be guided through the process of identifying and clearing any blocks or limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. And by doing so, you'll be able to fully embrace the characteristics, abilities, values, and purposes that you were destined to achieve. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock your full potential with our Soul Blueprint session. Visit theshamanicpaths.com and schedule your Soul Blueprint session today.
I find it fascinating that every time something like that comes to uh the mainstream, like any Joe Schmo can put time and energy and effort into creating this, and any kind of breakthrough for the regulars, um, they disappear very quickly.
Yeah.
I find that very, very coincidental, and I don't believe in quinkydinks. So, it's interesting how that happens. You know what I also thought of too? Um, it's also very interesting that however long ago it's this year. Remember when they were doing the portals like in New York
Mhm.
and somewhere in Europe? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought of that too. Well, yeah, I
That's so
mean
funny
they
because I was literally thinking about it. Yeah.
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 It's like, well, if we go with the idea that you're always told beforehand something that's coming to light or something or whatever's happening, but it makes it in a fun way. Yeah, how coincidental
I know,
were
right?
these fun portals to look at real time of New York and
Yeah.
wherever it was, I forget where. Um, you know, and then now we're seeing the evidence coming up of the discovery of all these portals sightings and things like that. So I find that fascinating.
Well, I have always, and I think it's because I have a science brain, right? So, and I've always said it's ironic that I'm in my field because I am very much scientifically based. And,
Hmm.
but I use that basis to prove metaphysics, to prove
Hmm.
the existence of it. It works in my favor. Anyways, string theory
Hmm.
actually proves that there are extra dimensions beyond the familiar three spatial dimensions that are proposed.
Hmm.
So portals will essentially provide access to those dimensions. I mean, if you believe in science, you believe in string theory. I mean, there's the multiverse theory. So
Right, right.
quantum mechanics,
Hmm.
they prove the existence of multiple parallel universe.
Yep.
So think if a portal was connected to those,
Hmm.
you know, and just the wormholes, everything. I mean, you can't disprove it. Our science does nothing but prove it. So I know the reason why I'm saying that though is because I know a lot of people, that they're like, oh, that this is just, science fiction. It's imaginative storytelling,
Hmm.
theoretical exploration. Um, the reality is if it's magic, advanced technology, cutting edge physics, doesn't matter. The concept of portals, um, they exist. They may capture our imagination. They may inspire us to ponder our boundaries, our realities, our possibilities beyond this limited span that we have come to believe. But if you believe in science, you can't
Right,
disprove it. You just,
right.
you know,
I like the I like the saying that I've heard for a very, very long time, and a lot of people use it, and I don't remember exactly how it is, but basically it's spirituality and metaphysics. Science is always catching up to
yeah,
spirituality and
yeah,
metaphysics.
yeah,
So, and I think I can we can translate this to, at least this is how my brain goes with it too, of uh portals and access to various timelines, and I do feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Mhm.
do feel that this also ties into the concept and you see it all over social media, of timeline jumping.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of,
Absolutely.
and it's
So,
it's be it's a popular thing right now of timeline jumping, and I feel like, well, yeah, that's also moving through a portal also into a different.
if you look at the Taurus, right?
Mhm,
The energy field, the Taurus, it literally folds in on itself, right? So
mhm,
this is what my brain does. This is my science brain.
yeah,
So if you think of a wormhole, why would it not fold it
mhm,
on itself? So how can we discount the possibility of timeline jumping because they're just folding that in upon itself and pushing us into a new?
mhm,
Yeah. I've always said,
yeah,
I have no way
yeah,
of proving it. It's a theory. There's absolutely no proof of what I just said, but it is a theory. And if you understand how the torus works, I think that you'll also go, interesting. It's a theory.
right. And I feel like it also helps push that and challenge that limited belief that individuals carry, because I do also feel like it's tied into, the idea that anything that we can think of already exists on
Absolutely.
some level, right?
Yeah.
So if we're timeline jumping, if we're thinking of our best, most wonderful life,
Right.
and we want to move, it's already in existence, and we just move ourselves to that timeline jump into that uh reality.
Mhm.
So I feel like this is all great because it also, even though it seems really big and really sciencey with the portals and then going into the Taurus and then going all over the stuff, but at the end of the day it also challenges that person's individual's belief system, like your limited belief system. You are truly the only one to hold the power to create the reality that you choose,
Yeah.
should you choose whatever it is, well, whatever floats your boat.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
But I think if you're anything, whoever's watching this, I know my spouse has said it. I know different family members have said it. You know, how in the hell can you tell what's real anymore? That's like the thing. How can you
Mm-hmm.
tell?
Mm-hmm.
Is this Adobe, aftershop? Is this, you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
can you tell? And there's some really, really bored people out there. So they have nothing better to do. But if you're looking at it, and this is what Krys and I was discussing before we started, is if you're looking at it and you're having trouble discerning it, you always have, because our brain wants to tell us one thing. Brain is
Mm-hmm.
logical, right? Our brain is super logical. Our brain is comparing all the information that we have obtained in our entire lifespan, and it's predictive, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
going to say, based on past experience, this is what I determine of this. Is it true or is it not? But if you listen to your body
Mm-hmm.
instead of your brain, your body's never going to lead you wrong. Never, ever, ever. Your body is your best tool. Those gut instincts that we have, it's actually tied in with your sacral and your solar plexus. They actually work together with us. The sacral energy is feeding the solar plexus, so you get that gut response of
Mm-hmm.
this is true, this is not. I highly encourage you to tap into that and feel
Yeah.
that. Is this true? And wait for that gut response. Not your brain, but your gut. What is it telling you? And I think you'll be really, really surprised, because my brain will look at something and I'll go, absolutely not. My gut's going, oh, the fuck it ain't. That's real, you know? You know?
Yeah. And
You're
vice
right.
versa. You
Yeah.
know, you can look at something and I do this all the time with in the paranormal world, because again, everything's fascinating, and you know, there are a lot of bored people
Yeah.
who love to create.
Yeah.
Uh and you know, I actually enjoy looking at these different video evidence. Everybody has video evidence, and you find that also too, where it's the opposite response, where you're like, oh shit, like that's crazy, that's real, but then you know your gut's like, yeah, is it though?
Yeah.
Let's take
It's
another look at that. Is it? But I feel like this is a good reminder for people, especially as we're moving into, and I don't know about you, but I do feel to be true that we are moving into a phase also where more of these phenomenons and experiences will be occurring. Um, you know, and this is a good tidbit for people to remember: your body, your gut, your intuition will always have your back and will always be responsive, no matter what the brain says, what the ego says, what everybody else says, you know. And I feel like this is also really good practice too, because it just ripples out into everything else in your life also. You know, we're talking just about CGI, but um, you know, and discerning what's real and what's not, but it also is going to play a role in everything else that you perceive in your life.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it does. I think that, you know, everybody has their own perspective, and I think everybody has their own motivation behind their perspective. So instead of, looking at something with that motivation of this will prove my theory or disprove my theory, set that aside, let it stand on its own and go, is this real or is this not real?
Mm-hmm.
Start from there,
Yeah.
and then work your way into, applying your own. Is
Right. Right.
proving or disproving. I think that's challenging for a lot of people, because if you don't believe it, you're going to call bullshit right away, and you're not even going to listen to that inner voice or that inner
Mm-hmm.
gut feeling. Um, and if you believe it, you're going to be like, oh, wow, but you got to set it aside. Really, I encourage everybody to have an open mind about everything and just tell yourself it's interesting. Don't put it in a category of right or wrong, bad or good. Um, it's interesting. If you live your life with everything being interesting, it's so much easier. I assure you.
Mm-hmm.
So easy.
It's so much more fun.
It is. It
It,
is. So
I am
that's
like
interesting, you know?
student seat, forever sit in the student seat in that way
Yeah.
of that. My soul's motto is, wow, that's interesting. Isn't that
Yeah.
interesting? You know, because you do look at it, just expands your perspective on looking at things and situations, and it also invites that curiosity to that critical thinking.
Sure.
And like when Charlie's saying, just put that aside and look at it that way. Just try it for the week and see how that goes.
Yeah.
Let yourself play and just try it out for the week. Don't take anything to heart. Just take it all as, my, that's interesting, and see what new insights, perspective, revelations that come to you,
Yeah.
and how your body and your clairs start to respond to that mindset of life is just interesting all around.
We'll be right back after this short break.
I was told a very long time ago that, and if you believe in manifestation principles, then you'll understand this. Um, we create our reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're happening to scroll on to something and you see that, it's also something that you wanted to bring into your reality. So it's interesting. I don't know. I think of myself as being in a huge ass playground. That's what this is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're gonna see monkey bars, and sometimes you're gonna play tea set with pretend people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
part of the playground. Let
Yeah.
your imagination fly and just handle everything with it. It's interesting. How
Mm-hmm.
creative, you know? That's all. It's cool.
Oh yeah.
The moment you attach an emotion to it of this is right or wrong, good or bad, cool or evil or whatever, you've already ruined it for yourself. You really have. You've ruined it for yourself. So the
Yeah.
universe will forever label everything as that because you've already got it imprinted into your brain, and it will take forever to erase that imprint.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's so true. It's it is work to walk back
it
and
is.
rescript yourself
Yeah.
once you've decided this is going to be this. It your brain is like forevermore,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to really work at changing that script. And I feel like that also, I mean, that's a good thing to remember, though, even when we talk about individuals with moving through shadow and breaking old habits and things like that.
Sure.
It you decided in that experience that this is going to be the result, or this is going to be the belief behind it. And when you want to change that, it is not going to be an overnight success, because your brain went forevermore. This is
Hmm.
how it's going to be. And, you have to continuously give yourself new experiences and new examples to
Hmm.
shift that.
Yeah.
And I see that too with individuals, um, who, when we talk about the timeline jumping, moving into your most wonderful life.
Hmm.
And some individuals in disbelief that it doesn't work, because I woke up and I'm still in the same, I don't know, shitty reality that I have right now, or whatever they think about their life. And I also find it very interesting that when you want to shift and jump into another timeline of yours, a new reality of yours,
Hmm.
I feel like, the universe, spirit, God, uh, brings things to your awareness and challenges that current belief system, because I feel like, on some level, you're still holding on to it
Hmm.
and you have to let that go. And I think it's very interesting how some people try this to experience it, right? And then feeling disappointed and in disbelief that, oh, that's just nonsense. It doesn't work. I tried, I woke up and I'm still in my same reality. Nothing's changed. But I
Yeah.
beg to differ. Uh, Nothing's changed because you decided nothing's changed, or you are ignoring new awarenesses that maybe spirit was bringing to you, the universe was bringing to you. That's also a shift in an opportunity to shift in your reality,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I've seen it so many times, and people have brought this to my attention of talking about questioning timeline jumping. Is it a thing? Uh, yeah, I believe that anything that you want to create, you'll create. But I also believe that we as humans hold on so tightly to shit that the universe is like, let it go.
Yeah.
You want better, you gotta let it go. But we're
Yeah.
like, no, you know.
I think that we put so many things in a box. You know what I mean? Our fears, our hopes, our desires, our needs, our guilt, our innocence, survival, and all of those things play a factor. And when we start to um look at something and we say, okay, is this a possibility? You know, so our ego is filtering through all that, and they're like, well,
Mm-hmm.
you're worried about survival, you're worried about your fear, you're worried about, what you had anticipated happening. This is not what you desire, this isn't what you need. um this is bad, therefore it doesn't exist. Like that's
Yeah.
literally what your brain is doing, and your ego is in charge of the filing system in your brain. So
Mm-hmm.
you know
Yeah.
listen to the body's always going to be accurate, the brain,
Oh yeah.
well, yeah, you know.
Right. I take this world of CGI that we're now in, and AI and all of these things, and I apply it to also thinking like Charlie's outlook of this is a playground. I go like this is a Sims game.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
just we're just playing a video game.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, and I encourage food for thought for those listening and watching, listening to us talk about, I think we jumped around quite a few times in
Yeah.
subjects during this episode, but lumping it all together, I challenge you, take this food for thought. If you see CGI and AI and all these creations, and then the idea of portals and timeline jumping and all of these things, and Charlie's outlook of this is just a playground, mine of like this is literally a Sims game, doesn't matter anyways.
Yeah.
uh, and allow that to challenge your imagination when you're creating your own reality, your own playground, your own Sims game, and let yourself explore just like CGI and AI and all those creations do now. I mean, you can literally type a description into a box and get an image produced, or a video produced to match whatever your description is. So let that challenge you to expand uh, your own imagination of what you can create in your life.
Yeah.
Your life is basically CGI,
Yeah.
and your thoughts are all going into that box.
Well, and
So
I
think
I
about
think
it.
your response is going to have a lot to do with it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't remember. I think you were the one that texted me and said, "Hey, did you know about this or that?" And
Uh-huh.
you know, so I watched, and then I came back, and my text comment to her was, "Calgon, is that you?" I'm really dating myself here. If you don't know what Calgon is, I apologize. I'm old, but uh, it's all about how you perceive it. If you're perceiving it as a threat or fear or the end of the world and all of that, um, yeah. Let me tell you, I do predictions every year. This world is not going anywhere anytime soon. Um, it's not. So
Yeah.
you can let that go. You can absolutely let
Mm-hmm.
that go. As stuff gonna change? Yeah. Consistently, continuously,
Mm-hmm.
forevermore. It's called growth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're always gonna go through change, you know. Um, but there's no sense fearing I think people fear the unknown, and hopefully this will um correct that, because now you know. Now you know.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's, if anything horrible, awful, world evolutionary was to take place, don't you think that every psychic with any abilities would be blasting that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't see them sweating it, because we're all literally going, huh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The collective conscious is a thing. And that's where a bunch of people all at the same time are manifesting things into their reality, right? So I don't know. I've heard a lot of people that were saying, funny stuff, like to the aliens, that, they drive up and they're like, and they just keep going,
Uh-huh.
so I don't
Oh.
know. What are we collectively manifesting? Is everybody bored? Are they wanting rescue? Are they wanting, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And if this
Yeah.
is a splice in time, because so many people are like, yeah, it really sucks right now. And don't tell me y'all don't think that way, right?
Right, right.
It really sucks right now. Uh let's have a do-over. Let's go to a different dimension. Let's see if it's better there. It's a very high possibility. It really is.
Yeah.
Collective consciousness is a thing. And if we have
Mm-hmm.
the majority of people who are wanting
A
different,
shift.
yeah,
Yeah. Guess what?
you're gonna get it. You're gonna
We're
get
in a
it.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know I have been asked this too recently with, the world and how it's going right now, and just a friendly reminder, because this person was very distraught over everything going on. And what can I do? What can I do? You can stay in your lane and focus on your own life. And that may sound bad. I don't care. It is what it is.
Oh, it's true.
Stay in your lane, focus on your own path, your own life. All of the stuff that we've been talking about this whole episode, and getting into choosing your reality and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what you can do, because your ripple effect matters.
Yeah.
Your frequency, your vibration, as we've said this before in multiple episodes,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to emit out your own signal, and that matters. When we are all I
Yes.
mean, look, apply it to just what Charlie was talking about with the collective consciousness, it being a thing. If enough of the majority is all sending that ping out of shift and change, what do you think is going to happen? If
Yeah.
enough people, the majority, are pinging out, they're creating their best lives, and their vibration is high, and they're in this oneness understanding, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
So by you staying in your own lane and focusing on your own life in an outwardly way, you're also still aiding the collective consciousness. So
Absolutely.
you're not doing nothing, you're doing something.
And here's the thing. If there was like literally a portal right above my house in the sky, I would go out and, probably like anybody else, go, what the actual hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Probably look at it for a while. And
Mm-hmm.
then we would go, well, I gotta go to work. I still got a mortgage. You know? Like,
Yeah.
just go about your life, you know? Um, Interesting. Wow, that's really interesting. Wow, I wonder what the purpose of that is. But it's not whatever you're seeing in Ohio or Tennessee or India. Um, there was another place in my brain. There was like several.
There was
I'll
quite a
have to
bit. Yeah.
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 There's
There's
so
quite a bit.
many videos. Um, I probably went through like literally going like this, probably 80, 100, something like that. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
lots. But, if you're looking at them, just do that. It's interesting. It is. It's just really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Promise you. You're still gonna have to go to work. I know you don't want to hear it. I
I
know.
love that comment though when I'm looking at reviewing things and I see and I browse through the comments because I'm just nosy and I just like to see what
Yeah.
people are saying and I just like to observe the talk um because it's fascinating to me. But I like that comment. I see that a lot of so am I done paying rent or can I
Yeah.
quit?
Yeah. No. I've seen it
Oh,
too.
I crack up when I see that. Like, so are we done paying these bills? What's going on?
And I thought it was really interesting. I observed a conversation between an American and an Australian. And the Australian says, why do we not experience what you guys experience in the US? It's so boring here, you know? So I think it's super interesting if we do that whole hive mind, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's an interesting point of view.
Yeah,
If you believe in that, right?
right.
It's very interesting since they're way the hell over here and we're over here. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but all in all, if you listen to your gut, that's never going to guide you wrong. It really will not. And your brain is full of all of the things that you have either dogmatically been passed down to you or you have just come to observe and believe as to be true to you now. It really limits you,
Mm-hmm.
really limits you. So just ask your gut, is this true? Is this real?
Yeah.
Ask your gut, is this the end of the world? Because your gut's gonna go, no, bitch. No. You
Not
know,
even close.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people that use pendulums, and your body is a built-in pendulum. It really is. It's not gonna steer you wrong. The brain, yeah, it likes to
Mm-hmm.
muddle, but we've programmed that throughout our lifespan. So it's extremely biased.
Right.
Body
Yep.
isn't.
Yep. Oh yeah. Any final notes on anything before we
No, I don't think so.
sign off? I think we're good. We bounced around a lot during this. I think we say that all the time, but I think we really did bounce around a lot in this
Yeah,
episode. It's kind of a catch-all of a lot of things. But you know, take life as very interesting. Everything is just fascinating and interesting.
yeah.
And anything you don't like, that's crazy. Not in my timeline, not in my life. That's nuts for them, not for me. you know?
Yeah,
So um I challenge you to take this information, sit with it, think about your reality as that playground, as that um, imaginary CGI outlook, and look at where you even feel that hesitation to, oh, I can't achieve that, or it's not for me, or whatever. And
right.
there's that one cue for something for you to burst through, a limiting belief to break free from.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate your presence as we monkey around to so many different topics this episode. Um, and if you found that this resonates with you or somebody that you know, we always appreciate the energetic exchange of sharing, liking, commenting our episodes. And yeah, I think we'll catch you all next time.
Bye bye.